We have a form of minimum wage policy via the progressive wage model.
I would not exaggerate the differences between the PWM model and the minimum wage model.
So, there was a debate from the September Parliament sitting. It was quite a memorable debate about minimum wage, a proposal which was first brought up this year during WP's GE 2020 campaign. In fact, it's already been debated once, on national TV no less. This time, it was broached again by MP Jamus Lim in his maiden speech in Parliament.
If we agree in principle, as I said in my speech, with the idea of a minimum wage, which is one step to the left,
leading to quite an exciting exchange about minimum wage and the progressive wage model. It got so heated that even Senior Minister Tharman weighed in on the issue.
I wasn't intending to speak, and I just thought I'll make a very brief intervention.
So, what is a progressive wage model? How is it different from minimum wage? Why the debate? If you're still unclear, then you're too lazy to read up about it. I'm Chui Wen, and I'm here to give you a rundown of that wage debate in Parliament. So this is the progressive wage model in Senior Minister Tharman's words.
The PWM model is a minimum wage plus.
But what does that mean? Disclaimer, it's not like iPhones and the Plus models. The progressive wage model, abbreviated as PWM, is a system Singapore has to lift the wages of low-income earners and was first introduced in 2012. And surprise! PWM is actually quite similar to minimum wage. Same but different! Yay! So, how is it minimum wage plus? Minimum wage, as its name suggests, is a baseline salary. While PWM also has a minimum wage component, it's structured like a ladder. Within each job tier, there is a recommended minimum and maximum wage ratio. This is supposed to incentivize employees to seek training and improve their work performance so that they can earn more money within the same role. So according to this report on recommendations issued in 2016, an entry-level cleaner in Group 1 will earn a minimum of $1,236 and can earn up to $1,483.20. So think of it in terms of a Venn diagram. The intersection between PWM and minimum wage is a minimum salary, but that's kind of where the similarities end. Can you cut? Are you cut? Bing. To understand why this was passionately debated in Parliament, we must understand what the differences are between PWM and minimum wage. So it all comes down to scope, type of wage, and focus. A key difference between the two is its scope. PWM is sectorial, while minimum wage is universal. Meaning, a minimum wage would require all businesses, regardless of sector, to pay their workers above a certain level. PWM is currently only mandatory for 3 sectors: cleaning, security, and landscaping. It will kick in for the lifts and escalator maintenance sector in 2022. As for the waste management sector, discussions are underway on how to implement the PWM. The minimum salary safeguarded by PWM is basic salary, while WP's proposed minimum wage is take-home pay. What's the difference between the two? Basic salary is before CPF contributions and take-home pay is after CPF contributions. Another difference between PWM and minimum wage is this add-on, the Workfare Income Supplement Scheme. It's usually mentioned alongside PWM. It's a monthly cash and CPF payout to Singaporean employees who make below $2,300 per month and are 35 years or older. According to the Workfare website, workers can get between $1,700 and $4,000 a year. This works out to about $142 to $333 a month. 60% of this payout goes to CPF and 40% is given in cash. So how much does this work out to? Say I'm a 66-year-old lady who's working as an entry-level cleaner. I earn $1,236 a month. My take-home after employee CPF contribution would be $1,174.20. Say I get the maximum amount I am eligible for under WIS. I would receive $133.30 after CPF contributions from the government every month. So my total take-home would be $1,307.50, which is comparable to the national minimum wage of $1,300 per month for all full-time working Singaporeans called for by WP in their GE 2020 manifesto. But if I was younger, say 37 years old, my WIS payout would be smaller, which means I bring home less money. So minimum wage focuses on employees, while PWM focuses on employees and employers. How? Is this ladder again. According to the MOM website, PWM benefits workers by mapping out a clear career pathway which gives them sustainable wage increments through training and skills upgrading. For employees, this means that they are guaranteed to earn more if they upgrade their skills. And for employers, there is an assurance of an increase in productivity when employees' salaries increase. A minimum wage policy alone is centered on employees. In a Facebook post, WP member Yi Zhenzhong wrote that it might take a long time for the government to move PWM to all sectors. So having a minimum wage is a good signal that we wish to leave no workers behind. Besides WP, other political parties like SDP have also mentioned introducing a minimum wage. Some economists have also touched on a few perks of having a minimum wage. In a podcast by socialservice.sg, economist and Professor Linda Lim mentioned how the minimum wage is administratively simpler, less bureaucratically complex and costly than PWM. One of the arguments that favour PWM is that a minimum wage may lead to an increase in unemployment. This is because with higher wages, employers may lay off workers to reduce the cost of operations. This sentiment has been echoed previously by Minister of Manpower Josephine Teo, Senior Minister Tharman, and NTUC Chief Ng Chee Meng. In September's parliamentary sitting, MP James Lim cited overseas studies highlighting that minimum wage would have little to no effect on employment. He also said that there is evidence to show that Singaporeans are willing to pay more for essential services, which means that the higher wages would be supplemented by more revenue from consumers. However, he also acknowledged that such a policy may not be ideal at this very moment.
I did say that this is not an ideal time,
And that while he does not know what an appropriate level of minimum wage would be, he suggested that a national commission be set up to study and understand this better. Which means WP's minimum wage idea needs a bit more time to be fleshed out. So, after hearing all that, you might be thinking, what now? Well, the intention to lift the wages of low-income earners is pretty much the same, but the devil is in the details and execution. For now, the discussion continues, and as it goes on, more questions will arise. How and when will PWM be implemented to other sectors? How would employers respond to a minimum wage? Would they prefer it over PWM? How would local employees, especially those who benefit the most from either PWM or minimum wage, which would they prefer? I don't know about you, but I'm looking forward to more exciting debates in Parliament. Quite action-packed, huh? Oh!